Midwest Guys presents Watchers of the MCU.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to For Midwest Guys Presents Watchers of the MCU. I am your host, B. Willie, and with me down in the corner down there is Mr. Brian Ankenbauer.
Hey, what's up? What's up?
What's going on, B? How are you today, man?
I'm doing good, man. Doing good.
Excellent, excellent. And with me again is my lovely daughter, Gabriella, in her Winter Soldier gear and all that. So, Gabby the Winter Soldier, everybody.
Hi.
Hello, Gabby the Winter Soldier.
Oh, okay.
You kind of got it going on. You got the long hair. You got the mask. You know.
Exactly.
We just need to get you the metal arm.
You're pretty close.
Yeah.
Get you the metal arm.
Put a little red star in it. You know, it'd be good. I got my daughter's a Winter Soldier. I can put her on ice.
Is that a Reds mask?
Actually, it's a DHL one, believe it or not.
Oh.
Yeah.
I would say we get her a silver arm with a Reds logo on it.
That would be pretty cool, actually. Yeah.
the Reds shoulder.
The Reds Soldier. Yes, the Red Summer Soldier. There you go.
There you go.
I like that one. All right. So, but before we get started, obviously today we're going to review Falcon Winter Soldier, episode 2, the Star-Spangled Man. But before we get started, I've got to warn you, and I have decreased the volume for those of you with the. I apologize for last week's volume being too high on this, but
RIP headphone users.
I fear I have to let everybody know that that this is a spoiler review. So here you go.
Spoiler alert.
Oh yes, much more comfy to my ears. I've redeemed my ears.
Spoiler alert.
Okay, so you have been officially spoil alerted from this point forward. All right, so let's go. So episode 2 pretty much picks up right where we left off last week. Last week it was like there's a new Captain America in town, and we get a little bit more about him right off the bat. It's meet John Walker, the Captain America 2, the second. They kind of hint that he was the captain of the football team. We learned that he's the only man in history to get 3 medals of honor, which is crazy. Leader of counterterrorism missions. His body was studied at MIT by the government. He tests off the charts and physical, mental, intellectual, and all that stuff. Like he's almost too good to be true. Like it's he's one of those. If nothing else, it seems like he's at least one of those gifted people. You know what I mean? Like he's
he comes across as actually American, if you will. If you think about it, American is always we're gonna win.
Yeah.
You know, we put the dream team together for basketball because we wanted to win. You
Right.
know, we did all this stuff to beat the rest of the world because we want to win, and that's kind of like what they did with this guy is they picked the winner.
Yes.
You know what I mean? They
Yes.
picked the winner. They picked the guy who was the captain of the football team, the 3-time gold medal winner, blah blah blah. You know, just the accolades, right?
Right. Exactly.
And that's what he says it's about. He goes, I know what Captain America is about. It's all about guts.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
And which it isn't.
Right.
We all know because we saw the other movies that it's heart.
Yes.
It was his heart.
Yes.
That made him, because he felt as a little guy for his whole entire life.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
You know, and then when he finally was the big Ben on campus,
Yep.
he helped everybody else before he helped himself.
Well, yeah, because
it wasn't about how can I win, how can I take on, how can I get these praises, because even this episode we're learning about him. The new Captain America says, just don't get in my way, because he wants all cameras on him.
Yes, like
he wants the fame.
Mm-hmm.
He wants that Hollywood.
Yes.
Even his first introduction was, he goes, what am I going to say? You know, I'm on Good Morning America. What am I going to say? And he goes, oh, Good Morning America. Like it was, you know what I mean? It was like
yes.
the whole big thing. It was
Yeah, where Steve grew, because Steve was the smaller guy, because Steve was the guy that was always picked on, that, and he was the guy but he was also the guy with the big morals and the big heart to begin with. Plus, you add that empathy in, and that's who Steve Rogers was. And even when you go back and watch the original Captain America, the first Avenger movie, the guy who created the serum says it makes good better and it makes evil worse. So which is how we have Red Skull in him, but so that's why Captain America was such a hero. It was his heart, it was the essence of Captain America, and the serum made that, even though made him physically bigger and stronger, it also increased that as well. So all these things that made Captain America completely lacking, because like you said, Brian, he's this all-American #1 football star. He's the winner, he's the go-getter, and he just wants to win. He doesn't care how he wins necessarily, but he just wants to win, right? And for all those reasons, he's close. On paper, he looks like a great Captain America if you just look at his accolades, but the personality-wise, he's nowhere near Steve Rogers. He
just comes across very douchey.
Yeah.
Yes, he does. So let's talk about so Bucky, obviously, watching this, and then you hear Captain America's last line in this interview. He goes, I kind of felt, even though I never met him, I always felt like he was my brother. And they zoom right in on Bucky, and it's like, ooh, dagger right there, and Bucky kind of takes those issues, and he takes issue with Sam because of it. Because Sam gave up the shield, he has all these issues with Sam, and it's very deep. It goes very deep into it, as a matter of fact, because he blames Sam because he said Steve trusted you to be the next Captain America, but you gave it up.
So my question is did whatchamacallit? I lost my train of thought. Falcon. What's his real name?
Falcon. Well, yeah, just call him Falcon. That's what I've been calling him.
Sam?
Sam. But yeah.
Yeah. So did Sam talk to Bucky about giving up the shield first, or was that when the news article was that? That's what I mean.
It didn't show that.
I'm going to assume no, because it seems like they hadn't seen each other in a while.
So that was his first time finding out that he gave up the shield.
Yeah, well, I think
that could be why he was upset too.
I think he saw his press conference and him giving up the shield in episode 1. But
okay,
but it's a physical interaction between the two. No, not until this episode. I think that's how it went.
Okay.
But yeah,
I was thinking that'd be another reason why it would be like, because if you think about it, when it came back, when at the end of the Endgame,
mm-hmm.
and we went to give, they were both there, so he had a choice to make. Was he going to give it to Winter Soldier, or give it to Falcon?
Yeah,
and he gave it to
Yeah, I think it was just that he saw everything on TV, and so this was the first physical interaction between the two, and this is really deeply rooted personally for Bucky, because Bucky is trying to be this better person, and the first person that believed that Bucky could be a better person was Steve. Going all the way back to Civil War,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And it was Steve that fought for him and knew who he really was and knew that he could still be that person. And so it goes even deeper against Sam, because he's like, then you're just proving that Steve was wrong about you. And if Steve was wrong about you, then he could be wrong about me.
Right, because Steve was basically right about everything.
Precisely. Yeah, exactly.
Everything all the way through all the movies. If you look back, Steve was in the right almost every time.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. He always took the high road, even if it wasn't the easy road. It was always the right road, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And that's what Captain America. That's what Steve Rogers was. So it's about betrayal. It's about questioning his own. It connects deeply within him, and how how he's trying to be a better person. And it's like you betrayed all of that. And they have to kind of work that out. And I think that's going to continue on, obviously, but they really comes to a head in this episode. I mean, in their therapy session, which, by the way, is pretty hilarious. I don't know about you. Did you get that real Lethal Weapon feel, Brian, from the therapy session, the whole glaze into each other's eyes and how they have to connect their legs.
Yeah, like closer.
Hey, you wanted this, yeah.
And they both wanted to keep their legs open.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, I can't get closer if you're gonna leave your legs like that. And he's like, fine. And he shifts them sideways and then pulls them closer. He goes, there, now we're locked.
And then they're locked, and then she's like, "What are you guys doing? Are you guys having a staring contest?" She's like, "Jesus Christ!"
Yeah. It was funny. I mean, it definitely reminded me of the buddy cop thing from Lethal Weapon.
Yeah.
But I think the Lethal Weapon one was more of they did the one-on-one sessions.
Yes.
But it was the counselor who was kind of put in the middle between the two.
Yeah, like they were pitting.
Yeah.
Like
even when they did the bathroom scene in Lethal Weapon.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, with the bomb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think it was very similar to that.
Yeah.
But I think it was needed.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
To kind of pull those two characters even closer together.
Sure. Yeah, because they're gonna have to. This is definitely that buddy cop, and that relationship is they're gonna have to help each other through everything, especially Sam for Bucky, really. And I think really Bucky for Sam, even though Sam doesn't realize it, maybe. But we'll see.
Yeah, I like where Sam says, and thanks for making it not weird.
Not at all. So let's talk about there seems to be a new narrative in the MCU that comes out in this episode. I think we heard it in episode 1, and we really, or at least we saw it in the previews, and then we definitely heard it in this episode, and that was it's one of the big. Are they one of are the flag smashers one of the big three? Are they aliens, androids, or wizards? So apparently, probably just based on what they fought so far, there's this like category. It's like it's like a different threat level almost. Does it fall into our big three threat level, our Avenger level threat level? I don't know if that's how you feel about it, Brian. Is that what you heard or felt from the whole big three, the new aliens, androids, and wizards? And then the whole Gandalf thing was hilarious, nice comedy. But what do you think about?
So that's what they were joking about was the so far if the Avengers get involved, it's always got to be one of the big three, right? They don't fight against your normal criminals. They're up against the big three: aliens, androids, or wizards. And then and Bucky does, who you find this time? Gandalf. He's like, that's not even funny. He goes, well, what's Cap? He goes, what's his name?
Doctor Strange.
Doctor Strange. He goes, what's Doctor Strange? He goes, he's a wizard without a hat. I just came up with that. It was funny.
A sorcerer without a hat is a wizard without a hat is a sorcerer. Ha!
Yeah. So I mean, it was because that's the only thing they've fought so far.
Right.
I don't think the public was really aware of super soldiers per se.
Yeah, not for a long time. Yeah.
I don't think the public was ever aware of super soldiers.
The big four.
I guess not. I guess they never really revealed that Captain America was who he was before he was. Well, they kind of do. They do in his history and stuff when you go to the exhibits, but they don't really come out and say super soldier, right? Yeah, they don't use the term, no.
And they don't say that there was more than one.
No, other than the only thing that we're up to this episode, as far as super soldiers were concerned, there was only 3 as far as I was concerned. There was
no, there was more than that.
There was Steve.
There was Steve and Bucky and
Red Skull. Those are the 3.
Right. Yeah. But in Winter Soldier, when we go to that nuclear power plant or whatever,
yeah, they were
inside that room. All those capsules were set up, and they were all super soldiers.
All Winter Soldiers, yeah.
Yeah. So they were all.
That's true. So I wonder if that's going to play into
and some of those were busted open with no bodies.
Yeah, that's true.
So, like when I was watching this episode, trying to think back how we would have missed Isaiah, who we introduced to later.
Yes, we'll talk about him.
How we would have missed him in all the shows.
Right.
And that's the only thing I can think of is that maybe he was one of the
Hydra captured super soldiers.
Yeah.
If that even happened, we're speculating at this point.
I mean, that's the only thing I can think of is that he was one of those that got away but got captured and then tested on for years. I don't know. It's hard to say. I've kind of lost my train of thought here for a minute, but yeah. So
So you got aliens, androids, and wizards, and I know what I was going to say is that this is the first time in a long time that they're kind of reintroducing us into a human element threat, not like a android, alien, or wizard threat, right? Like this is like going back to Hydra level threat kind of stuff. We haven't been there since Captain America 2 was the last time we were in the Hydra realm. Brian, I think we lost your audio there, bud. I don't hear you. Might be having some technical problems.
Hear me now?
Now I can hear
Okay.
you. Yeah, there we go.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead. So you were going to say
What I was saying was that we haven't been in Hydra since Agents of Shield.
Agents of Shield, yeah, and then
they're the ones that really took the whole Agents of Shield thing to the next level, because it was much easier for them to do human versus human on TV.
Yes. Then some extraordinary, graphic CGI threat. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. What do you think, Gabby? What do you think about this whole super soldier thing?
I just have a question.
Yeah.
So now that the super soldiers are like a thing, are they going to change it from the big 3 to the big 4?
They might add it. I think it's just a way of. I think it's their way of storytelling us, saying that we're going back to a human level threat here. That we've been up here, and Endgame is way up here, but now. And then we were in WandaVision, which is wizards and sorcery, and now we're back in reality, right? This is
right. Well, the other thing is, Brian, I think it's the other reason is why aren't we seeing the other Avengers tackle this problem?
Gotcha.
And I think that, because it's not one of the big 3.
Gotcha. It doesn't raise to the Avenger level threat.
Right.
It's like a sub level.
Correct. It's not an Earth-ending event, which would be aliens, androids, or wizards, whatever.
Right.
Sorry, this is just a, like a military type, government versus, a terrorist threat kind of thing. And the only reason why, Bucky and Sam are on top of it is because they got pulled in on contracts.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right, because Sam's trying to make money to save his boat and stuff.
Right.
And Bucky's on his contract with, staying on parole or whatever with the government.
Yeah, it's part of his. I'm pretty sure it's part of his parole thing. They seem to have all kinds of clearance everywhere they go, and they should as Avenger level people, I would think. But yeah,
right. And that's because if it was an Avenger level event, then why aren't we seeing Spider-Man and Hulk and everybody else come to take care of this? Because they're not needed right now. You know what I mean?
Or even
Hawkeye and
what's his name? Samuel L. Jackson, eye patch guy.
Nick Fury.
Nick Fury, thank you. Yeah, Fury would be there to try to assemble the next Avengers team, right? But we're not there yet. So,
right, exactly. So we're not. I think that's why they talk about. I don't think per se they're going to bring Flag Smashers in as the number 4.
Yeah.
But I think they're right there at that terrorist level threat.
Right. So it's
a
U.S.
attention
problem.
Right.
Yeah.
Because if you look at it, every comic book character has their identifying villain. Right. Yeah. So I think that is their villain for, these two guys.
Right. That's their
as opposed to having a master villain, which we might end up having.
We will probably.
Because we might end up having Zemo be the mastermind behind everything.
I'm hoping, honestly. We'll see.
And pull us into a different series. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. And then open up a new front that's going to run parallel to the Doctor Strange, Scarlet Witch, line that's going on at the same time. And eventually, they end up merging, but or turning and twisting like it always does. Which is why I'm really excited for the whole Disney Plus part of the MCU, because they can really, dive deep, expand, go off here, go there, and then tie it back in or whatever they want to do, which is great. Which is what we're starting to really feel and see. But let's get back to the terrorist group. So let's talk about the Flag Smashers. So again, they want the one world government. And I think, Brian, you had a really good, we talked about this a little bit. I thought your explanation of their version of what kind of government they wanted. Why don't you go ahead with that real quick? Just give your thoughts on who they are and what they want. What do you think they want?
Oh, well, they've said that they wanted a government that was that didn't focus on all the people that left, right? They feel that they're being excluded from everything. Everybody's being praised for coming back. When everybody had left and things started to get to normal, all those people that were trying to bring it back to normal and bring peace to everything, those guys are getting left behind and not even talked about. And it's all the people that just flash back. Oh, we're glad you're back. We're so glad to have you. Let's do this again. Let's do this again. It's like, and they're upset because the world changed.
Yep, and they thought it was for the better.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's the reason why so far. That's the reason we're given as to why they're fighting back.
Yeah, because all the attention is now on the blipped people that have returned and getting them back into society and everything, and they feel like they've been left behind. And they want the world. They now want to unite the world under the banner that they had created in the 5-year gap. So, which it's kind of a cool storyline because you can kind of almost see something like if something were like this to happen, you could see people, human society kind of evolving like this, which is kind of a neat idea or just a neat way to think about it.
It is a neat idea, and it's like, which one's really the bad? Which one's really the bad?
Yeah, sure. It would definitely be a huge debate, right? I mean, one group. It's like it always is in human history. You got one group here, another group here, and and they're battling it out for supremacy, essentially. Then the one thing I did notice the redhead,
I'm pretty sure her name was Kelly.
That was her character's name Kelly? I never did catch it.
I'm pretty sure it's Kelly. Well,
Kelly, something M, start with an M.
Yeah, it was like Thackerman. I don't know, something. Anyway, she played Memphis Ness, by the way, and that's actress Erin Kellyman. For those who wonder where she came from, she's in the Star Wars Solo movie. So if you've seen her before, that's the one that takes off the mask and's got the red hair. That's the same character, same actress, I should say. But it also looked like they were moving some kind of vaccine, guys. Do you think it was? Do you think it was? Yeah, well, you guys. Juice. Yeah, do you think it's super soldier juice, or do you think it's really vaccine and medicine for refugees or something?
You're triggering YouTube so bad right now.
What's that?
Never mind.
What do you think, Brian?
Oh, I think it's a super soldier.
You think it's a serum for the super soldier?
Oh yeah, I don't think it's a vaccine.
Okay.
I think it's so here's what I think it is. I think it's a super soldier serum. That they're trying to give to everybody who didn't go to the blip.
Yep.
To make them better than everybody that went away. That's my thought.
So to turn everybody super that got left behind, essentially, or so to make them superior. Somehow?
Yes. Kind of like increase their intelligence, increase their strength and stamina, just make them the better overall species, if you will. Leaving behind everybody who left the blip, right? Because they'll be weaker.
Yeah.
They won't be able to.
So you're saying
compete.
they want to create like I know this is a DC term, that they want to create like their own meta-human kind of.
Kind of.
Yeah.
It'd be, it's kind of like I would take it as far as saying like the Nazis, where he tried to
Oh, like a super race. Okay.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. Okay. But this would be a super class. So this would be a different class. Okay. That's an interesting idea. You can almost see them, you could almost spin that, Brian, into the mutants if you wanted to. Like,
into the X-Men?
Into X-Men off of that. That would be interesting. That's kind of far reaching. I don't think that's how they're going to do it, but I could see it in. This could be like the starting point for it, right? And,
yeah, and her name in the show is Carly Morgenthau.
Okay, Carly Morgenthau.
I was close.
Okay, all right.
I was close.
So Carly Morgenthau is the, and they even mentioned her in one of the rooms, and they said that she's the leader.
Hmm. So she's the head, yeah. So this Carly Morgenthau?
Mm-hmm.
So she's the leader of, I guess, the Flag Smashers. And the other thing about the Flag Smashers is they all turned out to be jacked up. They all turned out to be super soldiers themselves. So they all had the same ability. Bucky recognizes it and points it out to Sam. And this kind of goes back to our conversation before about super soldiers, about the return of the super soldier, and how we found out that there was another super soldier in the 50s. It turns out that a African American super soldier named Isaiah, who fought the Winter Soldier / Hydra in the 50s in Korea. So I guess they thawed out the Winter Soldier in the 50s because we know he wasn't always cognitive the whole time, but I guess they were using him in the 50s in Korea during the Cold War, and I guess America had another super soldier, and they dropped him behind enemy lines, this Isaiah, and they had a fight. And funny enough is
Isaiah won.
Well, Isaiah sounds like he kicked his butt, tore off half his arm. But the other thing is that Isaiah was never mentioned to Captain America. Bucky kept it from everybody because he knew he didn't want to be disturbed, I guess. But still, it'd be funny that Bucky never would mention that to Cap. What do you think, Brian? Don't you find that a little strange that he wouldn't at least mentioned it, that there was another one out there?
No.
You don't think so, Gabby?
No.
So I'm reading about it on Wikipedia.
Yeah.
Isaiah Bradley
Okay.
is the Black Captain America.
Oh, really? Okay. So the African American Captain America. Okay.
No, the Black Captain America.
Okay. Cool.
That's what it's called. That's what his name is.
All right, I believe it.
Yeah. Codename Project Rebirth during World War II.
Okay. So they were trying to replicate what happened with Steve, and I guess they were successful.
Yep.
Interesting. Huh. So he really is. So okay. So there you go. It's a comic book character.
Trained unarmed combatant, peak physical attributes, slowed aging, extraordinary immunity to disease, and carries a concave metal shield. So I guess we'll see more of him
later, maybe
later in this show.
So are we going to have like all the different versions of Captain America? So we're going to have Sam, we're going to have Bucky, who was Captain America in the comics, and now we're going to have maybe Isaiah Bradley show up as well. And then,
I guess so.
Along with U.S. Agent, or the guy who becomes U.S. Agent, I guess, the fake Captain America, whatever we want to call him. Walker. That'd be interesting. That'd be very cool, actually.
So this says that his first appearance in the comics, for those of you out there wanting to know, was in 2003 limited series called Truth, Red, White, and Black, the World War II Super Soldier Program of 1942, operated by Reinstein. And then they used African American test subjects to recreate the Super Soldier Serum that had previously been used on Steve Rogers.
Cool. So yeah, that's cool. So they're bringing somebody back from the comics and using it. I thought he might have been, but I wasn't sure. So
you can see that.
Okay. Well, that would be cool if he shows up, in his gear or whatever.
I doubt it.
And then you'd have because then you'd have the fake Captain America or John Walker version.
Yeah.
And you'd have the African American version. You'd have Sam, and then you would have Bucky. They would all be in the same fight scene, maybe at the end or something. That'd be cool.
He seemed really pissed off when they confronted
And then
him,
eventually you're gonna have what's her name? Captain America's daughter.
Yeah.
Carter.
Carter and
Peggy Carter's kid.
Him and Peggy Carter's kid, supposedly.
Mm-hmm.
That's a rumor. I'd read that rumor, but I don't know if that's going to happen or not. That would be cool.
You never told me about this.
Yeah, we could talk about it after the show if you want a little bit. But Brian, if you want to fill her in, I don't know the whole story, but it's just.
Well, no, the rumor is so when Captain America decided to stay in the past in Endgame and have a life with Peggy Carter, they had kids. And so that's eventually who the nurse is in Winter Soldier that takes care of Captain America.
It's his daughter. Yeah.
It's his daughter or granddaughter, or one or the other.
Right.
But she's related to Peggy Carter.
Yeah.
So they're saying that it's Captain America's lineage.
Oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Okay.
And she shows up in this series.
Yeah. Does she really? I hadn't heard
Yep.
that. Okay. There you go.
Okay.
So hopefully we'll get to see her. That'd be awesome. All right. I think the other thing we should probably bring up, as far as comic books, is there's a mention of the White Wolf. So it's just a little back and forth between Sam. I think Sam calls him White Panther. He's like, oh, you spent a little time in Wakanda. You're all stealthy. You're like the White Panther now. He's like, no, actually, it's the White Wolf.
Yeah.
So yeah, another reference to who his character eventually becomes in the comics. Well, whether that happens in the MCU or not, I don't know. What do you think, Brian? You think they're doing it intentionally, or think it's just a little Easter egg, haha moment?
Well, no, because he did call him the White Wolf when he was in Wakanda.
Right. But do you think we'll see him
it was that after mid-credit scene when she gives him his arm back.
Yes. Well, Well, it actually happens in Endgame, but yeah.
Whichever it was, but it was an end scene, wasn't it?
Well, it was an end scene as well.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
But so yeah, it'll be interesting. I mean, it'd be cool if he goes in his full garb, like comic garb. I don't think that's going to happen, but it'd be interesting.
Well, no, because
if he starts referring to himself as the White Wolf.
Yeah, I think the White Wolf is more of a mindset than it is a character.
Oh, okay. So it's a philosophy. Okay. So you
know what I mean?
As a philosophy instead of a
Because you remember he keeps asking his psychologist, what were the rules again?
Oh, okay.
Rule 1, Rule 2, Rule 3.
So those are going to be the White Wolf rules eventually.
Right.
Okay.
I think so.
That'd be interesting. So let's talk about Captain America, and we bring up the GRC, or the Global Repatriation Council. So in the wake of the blip and the return of everybody from the blip again, they have created a council, maybe like through the UN or something. It's called the Global Repatriation Council. They're there to put their healthcare back in place, Social Security, basically get people back in place or in homes that are misplaced because of the blip, blah, 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 et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But the interesting part of this is it sounds like John Walker, Captain America, and his sidekick, Battlestar,
and their dog Galactica.
Are actually kind of like the peacekeeper, or if you will, the military faction of the GRC. So they are working directly with or for. He works for the U.S. government, but it sounds like he answers to the GRC. Is that what you got out of that, Brian?
Yeah. Well, sorry about my voice.
No, you're fine.
The GRC to me sounds like a cover story for a bigger like Hydra or Shield.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It sounds like the GRC is more of a cover story. Here's what we're doing, our good peace stuff, but when they're not actually doing
Peace stuff, yeah.
Yes, that's what it seems like to me.
Like they're there to protect the New World Order, so to speak, if there is one, right? For the GRC. So, kind of interesting, kind of shady, kind of not something Steve Rogers would do, in my opinion.
Correct.
Yeah. So another example, and then of course, I think it's worth mentioning that John Walker isn't completely a bad guy. He tries to get along with the Avengers. It's just, like you said, Brian, he wants them to work for him, and he doesn't want to work with them necessarily. He wants them to work for him. He wants to be the head of it.
He wants the credit.
Yes, he wants to be Captain America in all shapes and forms he wants all the respect. He wants all of that all up front without earning any of it.
He wants to be the winner.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. I want to be the winner. Here I come. And then, of course, and then we get to the end of this episode, and Bucky kind of comes to the realization because of this conversation he had with shitty Captain America and Battlestar Galactica, that they need to talk to General Zemo. So Zemo, for those of you who don't know, and I'm very excited about this because I thought he may be next to Thanos. He may be the best villain, I thought, in the MCU, just from a psychological standpoint so far that I've seen in the MCU that's produced. Because this is the guy who took the entire Avengers staff and literally pitted them against each other. He's the one that got Iron Man and the original Captain America, Steve Rogers, to fight in Civil War. He had that kind of manipulation power. He was just out of pure revenge for his family, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, and is why he did this. So to me, to have this kind of, I love the psychological bad guy just as much as I love the big, powerful Thanos kind of bad guy. So to see him brought back, or they're going to bring him back, it's got all kinds of lot of exciting opportunities to see this villain put back in place or put back in power. Something happens, whatever. What do you think about Zemo, Brian?
Well, yeah, I mean, he definitely has the psychological. He's like we were talking about it off before we started the podcast. He is, for all intents and purposes, for this current storyline we're in, he's like the Lex Luthor.
Yes.
He's the actual human.
Mm-hmm.
So for that purpose, for those of us that connect that way, it makes him feel real.
Yes.
Whereas we're watching Endgame and we're watching Thanos and his creatures and we're like, it's fake, it's not real.
Mm-hmm.
But if we watch like FBI Most Wanted or Blacklist,
yes,
or any
Blacklist
of those,
would be
right?
a good example.
So if we're watching those, we know those people can be real because they're real people.
Yes.
Right. So Zemo is a real person, and all he's using is his mind to create all this chaos. And so for us, it makes him feel more real.
Definitely,
right?
More real. Yes.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Right. Like G.I. Joe with Cobra Commander.
Yeah.
Real person.
He's somebody
felt like a
shield.
real evil person. You know what I mean?
Right. Exactly.
Whereas He-Man had Skeletor.
He's not real.
But he's not real.
Right. Yeah, I agree with you. He brings that realism factor, but again, just to have the mastermind psychological, he's how do I put this? He's a Thrawn. If you're a Star Wars fan and you've read any of the original Star Wars books, he has the tactical guy. He's methodical in his thinking.
Did I show this pop on there already?
I don't think you have. Not on the show. What do you got?
Yeah, so we got the.
Oh, there he is with his mask. Okay.
With his mask, so he'll be having this purple mask. This is actually from the Winter Soldier line.
Oh, spoiler alert! He might get his mask back.
Yeah. So it's purple mask that he has in the comics.
Cool. Very cool.
And if it tells you anything, usually the lines of these pops.
Yeah.
Have the most important characters.
So he may be the bad guy going on.
So it's just Falcon, Winter Soldier, and Baron Zemo.
Those are the only three? Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that might be a big reveal then.
Yeah. So I mean, those are the only three that they have. They don't have any of the other flag mashers or even Isaiah or anything. So I mean, Baron Zemo could be the villain that connects into
all of it. Yeah.
Into Doctor Strange 2 or Loki or
he could be like you said, the real guy, the real bad guy portion of it. Like we might have all this other mystical stuff going on, but he's the Hydra, the reintroduction of Hydra or something.
Yeah, makes sense.
That would be cool. That would be very cool. If you make him like the new leader of Hydra, I would probably lose my mind. I'd be like, yeah, that's a great move. Because I thought he was so underused in Civil War. I was just like, really? I was like, come on, give me some more of this guy, and they never did. They just left him. So to see him then actually utilizing him, and hopefully we'll get that tactical, methodical, psychological bad guy that I've been waiting for.
Right? Yeah.
Big baddie. All right. Well, that concludes our review of the show.
Wait, really?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's it. But before we go, I thought we'd show you where you can find more for Midwest Guys. And I'll pull this up right here. The best place to go is our website. This little graphic here shows you our website. That's 4midwestguys.com. That's, again, the number 4, midwestguys.com. If you look up at the top here, you'll see that there are all the links to different shows are up there, or as you can see, last week's episode is there, and we release these in chronological order. So if you just want to go chronologically order on how we release our episodes, they're there in that order. Or again, you can go up top and click them. There's a nice little message there for me welcoming you to the site. There's also links to follow, like, and subscribe on our Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Stitcher, Podbean, iTunes, which I need to change, and Blueberry as well. Which anyway, but to show you some of those other sites, what they might look like, this is our YouTube site. So this is kind of the same thing. There's playlists if you just like playlists, but again, all of our shows are there. That's our main site. And again, that is facebook.com/4MidwestGuys. Why is that playing?
4 Midwest Guys presents.
I'm going to switch back to the main screen. I'm not sure why that was playing. That was interesting. I must have hit a link or something while we were on social media to play one of our
shows.
One of our shows, which would have been The Mandalorian.
Neat.
Anyway, there's plenty of ways there. We're on Twitter. We're on Facebook. It's twitter.com/4 Midwest Guys or @4 Midwest Guys. There's plenty of other places. We're all over the place. Just go to 4midwestguys.com. That's your best place to follow, like, subscribe across the place, and leave us reviews, leave us comments. I know there's a voicemail line. If I can get back to the social media without okay, never mind.
Never mind.
I'll have to fix that later. But there is a voicemail line. I'll get back to that another time. So, but please follow, like, and subscribe. Reach out to us. Send us an email at 4midwestguys@gmail.com. Let us know how we're doing, what you like, what you don't like. If there's something special you want us to talk about, if there's a specific show that you want us to review, obviously let us know. We're desperate for feedback, so please reach out to us and let us know how we're doing and how.
Yeah, and specifically, if it's about this show, which character is your favorite? What storyline you looking to see? What looking to see progress. Stuff that we talk about here. We'd like to hear your opinions too. Because it's not just all about us; it's about all the watchers of the MCU.
Yeah, that's a good point, Brian. Remind me for next week. Maybe we'll put out a question, and maybe we can get up a poll or something, a poll question or something to get people involved in the episodes and stuff, and to the conversation. Because
I tell you what,
yeah,
I tell you what, Gabby.
Yeah.
We'll have you put the question together for next week.
There you go. There's your assignment. You got homework.
Not like I have enough, but okay.
All right. Well, Brian, thanks for joining us, sir. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Gabriella, always a pleasure having you on.
Thank you.
And I've been your host, B. Willie, saying we will catch you next time.
Goodbye, sirs or ma'ams.